Hi, this is S.J. Childs with the S.J. Childs Show. Today, our show won't have sponsors. Today, our show will be honoring the memory of Jack Nathan. Jack Nathan is the founder of Happy Jack. HappyJacksWorld is you. Jack created this community and the products as a safe haven for kids who struggle with mental illness. In turn, he helped himself. He eased his anxiety via painting and design, and by loving and helping others. Jack left this world suddenly and accidentally on July 3rd, 2020, at the age of 19. His passing was unrelated to mental illness. Jack was a survivor, not a victim. He struggled, yes, but he persevered. So that is what we ask of you. Preserve. For Jack, for us, and for the millions who have wrestled with mental illness. Please help to keep Jack's legacy alive. He was just getting started. Visit HappyJacksWorld.com today and check out his amazing designs, his clothing, and keep the message going. And as Jack's dad says, do good and be good. Thank you for joining us in this episode today. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. The S.J. Childs Show. I'm your host, S.J. Childs, and today I have two really special guests, parents David and Brady Nathan, and we're going to have a really wonderful discussion today, serious and delightful. So I'm excited for you to listen in and viewers to go ahead and watch and learn a lot and get a lot of value out of this episode today. So without further ado, thank you guys so much for being here today.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice
it's
to meet
an honor. It's so nice to meet you both too. And, I reached out just randomly out of the blue, and I'm so excited that you guys, got back to me and we could put this together. So, why don't you go ahead and just introduce yourselves and we'll go from there.
Sure. I'm Brady Harrison. I'm the mother of Jack Nathan. And I, unfortunately, am now the co-owner of Happy Jack, which was created by our late son, Jack Nathan, at the age of 19, and also a mother to Drew, who is at Indiana University as a freshman.
And I'm David Nathan, also part owner of Happy Jack and proud father of Drew, and Jack's father. And as Brady said, we are now the co-owners of Happy Jack, and very, in a weird way, very proud to say that. So,
yeah, definitely. And for our viewers and listeners that don't know about Happy Jack, tell us how that all came about.
Sure. Jack struggled with anxiety and bouts of depression, and he and I were very close, and he would come to me, with sort of the weight of the world on his shoulders, and to combat how he felt, he found solace in like music and art, and wasn't keen for a long time on taking any medication, certainly with the stigma attached to it. So he literally dove headfirst into art and painting. And, he basically said, Mom, I figured it out. If I can help one person not feel the way I do, then this will have been worth it. And what he meant by that was, if he could parlay his love of art and design into an apparel business and thus sell the apparel and give away a portion of the sales to foundations combating mental health, then he'll have won in a sense. And this is a 19-year-old, coming to me saying this. I'm so incredibly proud of him. And he just, when I say dove headfirst, was at University of Indiana and started literally bought a printer printing designs that he created. The name Happy Jack goes back to when he was a baby on a casting call, and a casting director called him Happy Jack because he had this big gaping smile all the time. But he did well at school, printing out designs, and unfortunately had to come home for COVID, which did not fare well with anyone's mental state, even if you were healthy at the time.
Yeah.
So he definitely had a hard time, but mustered up the energy to launch Happy Jack from my basement, literally. And within the first week of sales, he literally donated $1,000 to the Child Mind Institute. And unbeknownst to David and myself, I mean, I read about it on his Instagram account. So he contacted the foundation on his own, made the donation on his own, set up an LLC for Happy Jack on his own, everything.
Wow, passion.
And it amazing. And, you know, we're so proud, and he was so excited, and really believed he was going to change the world. And about 4 weeks after he launched the site, we lost him. And was not related to mental health, which is the irony in all of it. And we're trying to do our best every day to continue what Jack started, and to, you know, create change like he wanted to. And, you know, I feel a huge sense of responsibility to these kids. You know, Jack's he's one in a million who struggle. And if I can help, or we can help in some small way, then, you know, his 19 short years have to be for something much bigger than just 19 years.
What a legacy that he leaves behind.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, one of the things that is very interesting about Jack is that he defied authority. He hated, you know, anybody telling him
creatives
what to do, right? How to do it, when to do it, where to do it. And that's an entrepreneurial, creative mind at work. And, you know, Jack, you know, I'm in the music business, and, you know, we had tons and tons of opportunities to take what he was doing and bring it to the forefront with somebody or some other thing and help. And he said, I don't want anything from you guys. I just want your support. And if I make a mistake, you're going to make a mistake. He said, if I make a mistake, I'll learn from it. You know, I want to know, I want to do it. And, you know, at the time, Jack and I were very much alike in that respect. And so at the time, it was very hard for me to, you know, as a father, be like, you know, you're making a mistake and I know it. And, you know, Brady always used to say to me, just let it play its course, let it go. And
put your blinders on, Dad.
Yeah. And, you know, when I look back at it now, I have such respect for Jack that he was able to do that. And like Brady said, even at the age at that time, 18 and, you know, into 19, the ability to just understand and see it and recognize the fact that at that age, he was going to make mistakes, but he was going to learn from it, and he was going to get more powerful and better for it. So I just admire him and his work ethic so much, and how he designed this and what he did. So
he sounds like there's such an incredible guy. And, you know, I have a 22-year-old, and I understand that watching them make those mistakes in the world and not knowing how to reach out or making sure you do. Mental health affects so many families. And the fact that you guys can take from a situation that is devastating and bring to others a sense of empowerment. I'm sure he is just like rooting you on in every single way. So proud of you guys.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Feels nice to hear that.
Yeah. Where do you guys, are they sold online? Tell us about that. Tell us about the apparel and some really, really cute stuff. I just went on the website too, just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, we I mean now everything currently is online at HappyJacksWorld.com. Brady and I were very lucky in the fact that in March we were gifted a pop-up shop in New York City, which was one of Jack's bucket lists, you know, and what he wanted to do. And so we live not that far from New York City, and we were gifted this shop in March. We opened it April 30th. And then the idea of it was to be a month. Like we didn't know what we were doing. And you know, we had friends and family jump in and help us design it and curate it and put all the things together. And Brady's all of a sudden ordering all this product that she's like, what am I doing? I don't know. And I'm like, where do the paintings go? What do we do? And it just all came, you know, it just all came right into line. And fast forward, you know, we ended up staying there for 6 months, and we probably could have stayed longer, but I feel like Brady and I both felt like we were maybe wearing out our welcome a little bit. And it was the middle of the winter in New York City and down by the water, so it wasn't the greatest thing. But, you know, that really I think, gave Brady and I the ability to really launch the company and really put into a visual, you know, perspective so people could feel it there. You walk in there, it was a gallery, it was a museum, it was definitely not a memorial. You know, it was a gallery, a museum, an informational space, and a pop-up shop, and all wrapped up into one. And I don't think anybody walked into that store and walked out of there not understanding what our mission and message were and who Jack was.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to jump in? I don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, certainly the pop-up shop was gifted, and it was a tremendous part of our healing process. Certainly something that I don't even know if I knew that I could handle so soon after Jack's passing. But being that, like David said, it was something he always wanted to do. He always wanted to have a gallery. It was really hard to say no. And, you know, it was me seeing people for the first time, you know, since. So it was incredibly hard. But, you know, the people we met over those 6 months and the stories we heard and hugged mothers and sons, and everybody had a story that they wanted to share. And it was actually quite beautiful. And I do believe he was watching in a sense. His artwork filled the walls. So we played his playlist. We felt like he was there almost. It felt very Jack.
Love that.
And then upstairs in the pop-up shop, we created a wall. And we had partnered at the time with Active Minds, which is a well-known foundation that's prominent on college campuses in the mental health arena. And, you know, the question was, tell us how you really feel. And that's what Jack was about. He was completely transparent in how he felt. And, you know, it's become a bit cliche, this saying, but it's okay not to be okay, which we do hear a lot. But, you know, for a 19-year-old to come out and say that to other kids, he then became the go-to for everyone to tell their problems because he was non-judgmental. And he said, like, I'm struggling, like, let's all, you know, band together and stop pretending that we live in this like perfect little bubble when it's just not the reality. And, you know, he had the notion of accepting that he wasn't going to be happy 100% of the time. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And it's unrealistic. And he knew that. And
he's so wise. Oh
be wise beyond
really
his years. Wise beyond his years.
Everybody that ever met him said that. And then, you know, once you got past it and he was no longer with us, and people listened to Brady and I and heard the stories and saw his art and saw his, you know, heard his quotes and saw all these things, that was always the comment that people said, wow, he's so far beyond it, you know, who he was. And you know, I just, again, same thing is like, I think Brady and I knew that, but it's like to hear it from people who didn't know him, you know, is like, you're like, wow, he really did make an impact. I mean, we were getting emails, text messages, phone calls from, you know, so many different people that Brady and I've never met, that like would come out and say, I met your son at a party and we talked over a beer. And then the next morning he texted me to ask me how I was doing. And nobody ever did that in my 18 years of my life. Like those were the kind of, but those were the kind of notes that Brady would get or I would get. And these were things that we knew about Jack, but we didn't know, like that he was doing that and reaching out. And to Brady's point, Jack's whole outlook on it was, as I'm helping myself, I'm going to help others.
Yeah. He actually came into my room one day and he had just gotten off the phone with someone and he said, Ma, I really think it helps me to help other people.
Oh.
And, as much as the painting was a healing part of Jack's coping mechanisms, so was talking to other people.
Yeah.
So, that was really important to know. But, to go back to what I was saying about the tell us how you really feel, that wall that was up with, we put Sharpies all over the place for people to just go up and have their space and time to write or draw or do whatever they wanted. And, it became a safe haven for people to express their true emotions. And when you read the boards, something like this stands out obviously to me was, here's one of the boards.
Oh, I love that.
One guy wrote, like, had I acted on how I felt yesterday, I wouldn't be writing this today.
Yeah.
And, it's very powerful. And there are some days where we would just go up and read the boards and it just, solidifies the fact that like, we have to talk about it. We just have to. I know I said this already, but I just feel a huge sense of responsibility.
And one of the things that we're doing now is we're putting together these dates across, we have a bunch of college ambassadors, our brand ambassadors that work with us there's over 55 of them now, I think, across college campuses. And it started it was Jack's idea. He wanted to have this on the college campuses. He essentially wanted it, to help spread the brand. And obviously we didn't think what happened was going to happen, but we're doing these events now. And this whole, like Brady just said, this whole tell us how you feel is now taking on a whole nother meaning. And we're doing these events and this is part of the event. So we're incorporating these yellow boards or we're incorporating these huge canvases in these events. So you want to get into the event, you got to write something on the wall, draw a picture, do something. And by the way, it's not all positive, and it doesn't have to be. That's the beauty of it. It can be anything you want. Like Brady said, this one note was about this. And we have other notes that are, I'm proud to be here. I'm happy. Thank you so much. I love your store. I suffer every day, breathe in, breathe out, like whatever it is. And everything that we see and we look at is powerful. Everybody writes a message. And I specifically, or particularly rather, love like the 3 and 4 and 5-year-old kids who came in and like drew pictures, and it's just, what I would say to them or Brady would say to them, like, go upstairs, write on the wall and just do whatever you want. You want to draw a picture of a dinosaur? Draw a picture of a dinosaur.
It was cute. They'd be like, dear Jack. I love art too. Love you.
It's powerful.
Oh, the little
and I think it puts into perspective that even a kid at 3 or 4 or 5 can still somehow express themselves. Process.
Isn't it amazing? Oh, wow. I mean, I feel like it's in my bucket list now to come and write on one of these walls or canvases.
We're going to have to send you a board.
Seriously. I'm like, okay, what am I going to write? Oh my gosh.
And listen, so the idea of this, Brady and I we had a photographer come in before we took the store down, and we had a professional photographer come in and kind of shoot the wall and all different phrases and take little bits and blur out other things and superimpose Jack's art over the messages. And the idea now is to make, a coffee book out of this. And Brady, what your thought process is behind the book is that, there won't be anybody at any time will be able to open that book and read something or see something that they can relate to.
I think it's just the notion that people can learn that they're not alone.
Right.
In how they feel. And, I've gotten so many emails and texts from these kids saying, like, I didn't even know how to describe the way I felt until, Jack started talking. Like, they identified with him so much and his feelings so much that they were like, oh my God, someone else feels this way. I thought I was crazy. And, on the contrary, you're, very much normal. And,
just like all the rest of us, right?
And Jack, used to say normal is boring. And he, enforced the idea that everyone should be themselves and not conform to, whether it's society or to any particular group. And, I know it's very difficult, certainly with social media, but, be free of judgment. And he always, anytime he wrote anything, he would say, like, just be you, do you. And, without that self-confidence, he wouldn't have achieved what he did in such a short amount of time. And we very much believe that had Jack not, passed on July 3rd, that he would still be running this company for sure.
Absolutely. I'm sure that it sounds like he was making such amazing relationships. And sometimes people that move through the world like that touch so many lives without knowing. That's just incredible. Yeah. Goodness.
There's no doubt in my mind that he would be, even today, he didn't care about celebrity. He didn't care about like he loved music. And, I remember at one event, I took him to, and he must have been 13, and he went backstage on his own. And all of a sudden I'm getting pictures and he's with Macklemore and he's with Bruno Mars and he's with, and I'm like, where are you? And he's like, I'm backstage. And then I go, and he didn't like, it was just, there were people and he just like, excuse my language. They're like, fuck you if you don't want to talk to me. Like, I'm a perfect person too here. And we can,
absolutely.
I love your music, whatever it is. And that was his outlook on it. He just took it on and went,
And the fact that you guys are moving his legacy and his words and just kind of keeping it going. I mean, it's just fantastic. And it's exactly what we need in this world. And I'm sure that it's so overwhelming for you guys some days. But just imagine like how many lives you're continuing to change and you're continuing to help. And it's just incredible, just so incredible. I feel like I'm hardly ever speechless, and I've been more speechless today in this conversation than the almost 100 episodes that I've actually done. So I'm like honored, and like, I just, it's just incredible.
This is, unfortunately, this is real life. And, I always was told in my life and my jobs that I did that, what I did was entertainment. It was make believe, right? And this is real life. And Brady and I suffered the worst tragedy you could ever suffer as a human being, period, the end. And, there's two options, right? One option is the negative and this side is the positive, and how, we're trying to do a lot of things in one fell swoop, which, but obviously the most important, is the legacy of Jack and what he started. And it's Brady's and my responsibility as his parents to continue that mission. And, I don't, there's a lot of things that stop Brady and there's a lot of things that stop me, but this isn't going to be one of them. So.
I think, a lot of times David and I go back to, it's hard for us because we're so emotionally tied to the brand that, when we put something out and everything they're all Jack's designs. I mean, he had a treasure trove of designs within his laptop that we uncovered. It was like unbelievable. So, we are consistently going to release his designs in different ways. But when we put something out, whether it's a hoodie, a zip up, socks, a trucker hat, we're always like, what would Jack have done? And, there are some days where you're like, tell me what you want me to do, because we want to keep it so authentically Jack. And, he built this site and this company for his peers, not just for himself. And, we're two parents in their 50s. And, we don't claim to have our finger on the pulse of their generation. So it's very important that when we are doubting ourselves in terms of, is this the direction Jack would have gone, we have such a good relationship with the kids to say, what do you think of this hat? What do you think of this font even? And so it's very much a family at Happy Jack. And we've just, for the very first time, brought in someone to help us because there's only so much that two people can do. And there are a lot of people out there that are a lot smarter with a lot more experience than David and I. And I think it's really important to bring someone in that's not so emotionally attached, that can make good business decisions, because
it's hard. It's hard. We were on a call the other day and I texted Brady on the side and I'm like, this is difficult because for me, I'm kind of like a hands-on control freak, and I sit here and I hear, this person that we brought in, who by the way is amazing and is like so clever and forward thinking and understands and is learning, every day more and more about Brady and me and Happy Jack. And, but it's hard. It's not the easiest thing, but I have to convince myself that this is all for the better of what we're doing. And it's, and to go back to Brady's point earlier about the kids, like that's one of the best perks of what we're doing, is that we get on these Zoom calls with Jack's friends. We get on, we have conversations. We're doing all these events that we're starting to do at all these schools are all Jack's friends.
Oh.
Whether they're fraternity
friends
friends and camp friends, and
word of mouth.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's very overwhelming.
Yeah, and it's
support.
It's I love it, and it's great, and I don't think that'll ever change. I hope I sure hope.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I love that you guys are like doing what you said, just keeping in and doing for his generation what he was trying to do. I think that is so important. Yeah, right. We're all just trying. I agree. Yeah, absolutely. It's been such a pleasure to have you guys on today. Do you have any like events or anything big coming up, or just go to your website?
Well, we don't have anything listed just yet. We're actually revamping our website, and we're hoping to make sort of a big unveiling in May for Mental Health Awareness Month, with the new site updated, as well as a new launch for spring. But David's in charge of the event schedule, so I'll let him tell you.
Okay.
We're doing we have an artist, music artist that I manage. That actually, unbeknownst to both Brady and I at the time, Jack managed. So he had his hands on the music side following after me. But so this kid's name is Jack Moe, and he goes to the University of Colorado. And he's a rising senior, and he's taking some time off to do this. And his first album that he put out last year was called Happy Jack, and it was all about their relationship, their songs, their music.
Beautiful.
I saw that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Is it on there, or maybe it was on the Instagram or on the website?
No. Yeah, it is. It's very much along the lines of Mac Miller and Logic, which Jack loved both, obviously.
Oh, wow.
So what we're doing is we're doing a bunch of these shows where Jack is going to go, and I mentioned earlier, he's going to do a bunch of school events where we're tying in Happy Jack, Jack Moe, the school, the fraternity, sorority, and some type of mental health component. But again, it's very, very important to me and Brady that whatever we do, the message gets through to everybody. So, it's great that we're doing a concert, but what are we doing to surround it? Are we bringing people in? Are we doing, a charity event? Are we doing an educational event? Are we showing a video? Whatever we're doing to make sure that that these kids understand that Happy Jack is not just a brand, right? It's a family. It's a movement, and it's something that, and I say this all the time, is I'm not stopping until, this brand and what Jack's mission and message are known worldwide. So, and I think that's achievable. So we're doing a bunch of different schools. We're doing Colorado, University of Denver, obviously, where Jack went to school. We're doing Indiana, where our daughter goes to school, Penn State, Ohio State, Marquette, University of Miami. We just locked in University of Texas, Maryland. So we're doing this in conjunction again with, a lot of the fraternities and sororities, which are Jack's friends. But, we found out, we did a collaboration with a young girl in November with a young girl who passed away from Ewing sarcoma cancer at 19. And they came to us and they said, Jacqueline was a huge Happy Jack fan. And she got everything the second it dropped and everything she wore. And oddly enough, her name was Jacqueline and they called her Jack. So we did this Jack times Jack. My point is that the power of connecting, the power of networking. These girls came to Brady and I and said, we're going to sell 500 sweatshirts in 2 weeks. And we were both like, all right, let's go, and we sold 867 sweatshirts in 2 weeks. And we were able to, after all was said and done, make an enormous donation to the Ewing sarcoma cancer research. But also what we did is the remaining money, because Brady and I took, a percentage as well for what we wanted to do separately. And we made a donation for over $10,000 to the Born This Way Foundation, which is Lady Gaga's foundation. And,
wow.
And again, just to go back to the baseline of what we are, which is, Jack's whole philosophy was make money and give it away. And if I don't care, the money will come, but I really want to be able to help and do things that make a difference in life. And that's all we're doing. And just, in the honor and the memory of Jack, that's what Brady and I are doing. And that's the bottom line to the whole thing, is do good and be good.
It's just amazing. Amazing. Well, and our little quote for, I think kind of goes a lot right along with it. And that's a little bit of knowledge turns fear into understanding. And the more we arm people with knowledge about these types of things, the less fear they can run with and make some better choice decisions, in their daily lives for mental health and things. So, oh my goodness. It's so amazing that you guys are, continuing to spread this message and making such impactful, donations and just relationships out in the community. So thank you so, so very much for being here today.
Thank you.
It's such an honor. And we'll definitely be in touch. So you guys aren't getting rid of me just like that.
Good.
Yeah. Thanks.
Welcome to the family.
I appreciate it. I happily accept that invitation.
And by the way, what you're doing is amazing too. And I know, and Brady and I both know, what you deal with every day, as a mother and as a wife. And it just goes to show you that life's not easy and you have to, you got to power through it and know that there's going to be a sunrise somewhere. And just, be happy with what you got. And my wife always says life is for the living. And, and I believe that. I didn't for a long time. I did not.
Yeah, sure.
And it's taken me a while, but I think Brady and I are on the right track and we're going to do some good or some great.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm so excited to have met you guys and shared this time with you. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Before we jump off, tell us your website so everybody knows where to go.
Sure. It's HappyJacksWorld.com, where you can go for product. And the Instagram handle is @officialhappyjack. And what you'll see on Official Happy Jack is that Jack started the account. So you can really get to know him through his own voice and watch the original videos of how he got started. And I think you'll get just a better understanding of who he was and what he stood for when you visit the Instagram account. It's very special.
I love that. And I will make sure to have all the links down in the description and up on the screen so everybody will know where to find everything. And just like, again, I'm just honored and so pleased that you guys spent time with me today, shared your vulnerable and amazing story with me. Thank you so much to my viewers and listeners. And you can check in with me or check in with Happy Jack if you feel like you have a mental health issue that you need to find resources for. So please don't wait and make sure that we can help you and guide you to the right places. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.